Well, I'm joined now by broadcaster and former Brexit MEP Alex Phillips, TalkTV contributor and lawyer Paula Rhone-Adrien, and political journalist Ava Santina. All right, Alex, I brought up 4 kids. I'm not perfect by any means. I mean, nearly perfect as a father, probably. But this sanitising of everything, this overprotection, this wrapping in cotton wool, this nobody can lose, nobody can be called any funny names in cartoons, blah, blah, blah. It's exhausting. And B, all it seems to be doing is increasing the amount of anxiety in kids. All the figures show the situation's getting worse, not better. I would argue this strategy hasn't worked. It's had the opposite effect.
Yeah, it's utter madness. I mean, what we seem to be doing as a society now is making our kids into little hypochondriacs, to worry about everything, to police their own language at the time they should be learning how to develop their communication skills, to see everything through the prism of race, to see everything through the prism of gender. And then at the same time, the things perhaps we should protect them from, adult fetish, pornography, we're foisting upon them at an alarming rate. And I don't understand what children are supposed to be anymore. Are they supposed to engage with this adult world of critical race theory and extreme adult content?
100 genders.
There is no more innocence. Safeguarding has gone out the window.
All right, Paula, we've discussed a lot of these issues, all right? And I get that some kids are anxious. I've met quite a few kids who have a lot of anxiety problems. I think a lot of it is social media driven. I think a lot of it is dopamine driven, that they're exposed through social media to a constant barrage of imagery from wars and other things, which we simply would never have seen when I was a kid. So I think that cannot be overlooked, this constant sensory overload impacting negatively. And yet all the statistics will show young people, if they're calmly explained, there's never been a better time to be alive, actually.
But the statistics will also tell you, Piers, about the suicide rate amongst children, about how their mental health is suffering, about how children are being bullied, both personally and online in the social world, social media world. And so when we look at the Beano, what surprised me about this story is that we weren't applauding what the Beano were doing. We weren't saying, we weren't championing what they were doing, which is to stop children from calling each other names, because that's not appropriate.
Well, you think it's going to stop because the Beano stops using names? I mean, come on.
But, well, yes, I do, actually, because it's teaching children that it's not appropriate. And you call somebody by their name, which is Frank, John, Paula or Alex. You don't call them Spotty, you don't call them Darky, you don't call them Fatty, you call them by their name. And so what you are doing what the Beano is doing is acknowledging that it's anachronistic in its style and that it shouldn't be, that it should be taking responsibility for providing a positive message for children. Stop being mean, children.
Yeah, but the trouble is, life is tough, Ava. Life is very mean. You know, I always remind people of the Rocky Balboa speech to his son, who's a spoiled, entitled brat in the 6th movie. And eventually Rocky loses it with him in the street and says, look, life is hard. It will beat you down, right? And the challenge of succeeding in life is how many times you can get back up and keep moving forward. It's not how hard you can punch. It's about how hard you can get punched and keep going. We know this. And my argument is, I think we're just not preparing kids properly for the real world. And trying to create this kind of Barbie-style utopia where no one's mean, no one uses mean words, all that kind of thing, means you basically have to airbrush now every work of literature going back in history, because it was all full of mean stuff.
No, I think
it was.
Come on.
From Roald Dahl to the Beano, they're all getting censored.
Right.
But I don't get it. I don't get any of it works.
I think it's quite obvious that parents probably don't want to sit down in 2023 and read a bedtime story to their child about, Fatty and Spotty. I think it's probably market.
I do.
Hang on, I think it's probably market forces that have dictated it, and you love the free market, and I think they've probably looked at it and gone, do you know what, Beano, not really being consumed anymore. Why don't we try to get this, somehow purchased and back in schools, back at bedtime? And this is how they've responded.
But let me throw this back at you. My daughter she's 11, she calls me Fatty all the time, right? And does this to me all the time. Good, it makes me go to the gym. Didn't know this morning.
That's very, very different from reading her
Barbie
bedtime
pressing this morning to female trainers. I mean, this is how I flow. But the point is, I'm not offended when she does that. I think it's funny, right? It used to be you could laugh at stuff like that. But what we're now in a world where Cosmopolitan magazine, one of the most influential magazines for young women in this country, but it's a £305 model on the front cover. and doesn't mention anywhere in the text, either on the cover or inside, that this is morbidly obese and very dangerous.
Okay.
We celebrate being incredibly fat. But if you dare to use the word fatty in the Beano about a fictitious character, all hell breaks loose. The sensitivity police get called in. It all has to be changed. Explain to me how that is good for society or good for the well-being of young women who think that being 305 pounds when you're 5'2" is a great thing to be. It's body positive. Because no one's got the gumption to go, sorry, you are morbidly obese, you're going to die. And by the way, if you all want to be this fat, you're all going to die too.
But then we should have done that for the models who were 80 pounds and 6 foot tall, who were on magazines for 20 years and gave, the whole world eating disorders.
I said the same thing about the Size Zero campaign. I said that was wrong too.
There was never any warning on there of how women achieve that body frame. No one ever talked about the smoking, no one ever talked about the drug taking or the excessive dieting. None of that ever appeared in a magazine. And Piers, I guarantee your daughter, when she calls you fatty, and you have that lovely little inside joke.
You're not calling me fatty.
No, but you have.
She's allowed to, you can't.
But when you have a good joke about it and you're having, this nice, lovely moment, I guarantee you didn't teach her that word. That's probably something she's picked up and now you enjoy and you have a nice laugh.
Yeah, she's picked it up.
You didn't teach her that.
She's picked it up because actually kids do that kind of thing. They're kids, right? They're not going to stop because the Beano's changes everyone's name.
You taught her that word, wouldn't it? If you were at bedtime and you taught her that word from the Beano book, that would be a bit strange.
I just think I've tried to teach all my kids, just don't worry about... My mother always told me, we talk about the patriarchy. I lived in a matriarchy with these wonderfully strong women in my family, my grandmother, my mother, my sister, my daughter's inheriting the same thing. And it's just that sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. You're very much a, never mind sticks and stones, words are far worse. They're not. They're literally not.
And you know that that's not true.
I do not know it's true.
I think that's a really dangerous theory to push.
No.
We know that words hurt. We know that because our law recognises that fact, that people are often mistreated with words and that it can impact on their lives. We know that bullying, which doesn't have to include physical attacks, when we're talking about a verbal assault on somebody, it can often have the same threatening and intimidating effect as it could if you were physically assaulted.
I know, but my point is...
If you say if you say then we need to acknowledge that because they are viewers watching this who think it's appropriate to stand over a partner and shout abuse at them in their face or to even whisper it in their ear.
I don't know there's any viewers. My viewers are not those sort of people. Absolutely not.
I would hope I'd hope that they're not.
I have a discerning audience.
I'd hope that they're not. But Sadiq Khan recognises that abuse can be verbal as well as
You're never going to persuade me that verbal mockery and stupid phrases is ever going to come close to physical violence.
Well, maybe Meghan Markle might be able to do that.
Well, Meghan Markle dishes it out like everyone I've ever seen in my life. She thinks it's fine to call the royal family a bunch of horrible, racist scumbags and make hundreds of millions of dollars. You never complain when she does that.
But you
only complain if people say how disgusting.
But you say that is not appropriate, and that's exactly the example that I wanted you to give.
No, you're missing my point completely.
It's not appropriate to use language
that would insult somebody. But you're not going to sanitise the world, Paula. You're not. You're not going to stop people being mean.
We don't have to sanitise the world.
Is a mean place.
We can teach people to be kind.
All right, let's teach people.
Kindness.
What about teaching people to just state the bleeding obvious? So, in the Women's World Cup, it's called the Women's World Cup. We have a new superstar, the Canada midfielder Quinn, goes by the name Quinn. Wasn't the name that Quinn was born with, but Quinn has been heralded, celebrated this week as the first transgender, non-binary footballer to play in the Women's World Cup. To which my response when I read this was, hang on a second, hang on. Is she a biological male? No, it turned out she's a biological female.
Not she, so.
So what is she?
Well, whatever they'd like to go. Let's go.
Well, hang on. Just to be clear.
I think, Quinn.
I haven't asked a question.
They and Quinn.
I haven't asked a question yet. She is a transgender non-binary. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Well,
how can you be transgender and non-binary?
Because that's what they are.
I thought non-binary meant you were neither one nor the other.
What Quinn also is an Olympic medalist.
Hang on, sorry. I thought transgender meant you literally male to female, female to male. Turns out the non-binary is not the same as transgender.
I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I would say that's probably because they're not allowed to take the correct amount of testosterone because they are still playing in the women's team, and so I would assume they are saying they're non-binary.
Testosterone.
No, doesn't want to
exactly,
that's what I'm saying. So
Quinn doesn't want to be male.
Because Quinn can't compete.
Quinn is a female playing against females, but now doesn't want to identify
Because
as a woman.
you won't let her play on the male team.
No, you're
on the male
you're missing
team.
the point. She doesn't want to play on the male team. She's not actually.
They might. Quinn might like to do
No,
that.
Quinn wants to be an ex-woman, Alex.
Piers,
Hang on, Paula. No.
Who's upset
Paula,
about this?
Stop
Other than
being
you,
mean by
Piers.
interrupting. I'm
upset?
coming to Alex. Alex, I just want to get my head around this. She's a transgender, non-binary ex-woman. So my question is, if you're no longer identifying as a woman, what are you doing playing in the Women's World Cup? Not my title. That is the official title of a tournament. She doesn't qualify. They don't qualify, even though there's only one of them. They don't qualify for the Women's World Cup because they used to be a woman, but now they don't want to be a woman. So now we have to call them they for being a transgender, even though they're non-binary, and they're still playing in the Women's World Cup, and we're all supposed to go, well done, Quinn, what a moment! What a moment! But no one's quite sure. No one's quite sure what we're celebrating.
Quinn.
Alex, what are we celebrating?
Rules change all the time. It's like we're bestowing upon people who have gender dysphoria some sort of magical, extra special power that normal people don't have. And I don't care, frankly, how many goals have they scored? You know, that's more interesting if you're a professional.
Paula, why is someone who
profession?
doesn't consider themselves a woman in the Women's World Cup? Explain to me.
Because where else are they going to be able to?
In a trans or non-binary tournament?
I
problem.
don't see one, and I certainly don't.
I
see
keep
one
being told there
and
are millions.
certainly
I keep
don't
being
see
told there are
one
millions
on
of trans
the
people now
world
around the world.
stage.
Great, have your own tournament.
So, Piers, if you and I want to set one up, then I'm all for that.
Swimming have just done it today.
Fantastic. So why don't we do that?
Great.
So instead of being
So you
angry,
accept they shouldn't be competing?
No, I do not accept
in Quinn's
that.
case,
No, I do not accept
in
that.
Quinn's
You asked
case,
me what options did this person have?
Quinn?
None was my answer. None.
Yes.
No options did this person
Yes.
have to perform on their
Look at your
world
mournful
stage.
little faces. You both know this is such.
No, you want
You do.
to be angry, people.
Look at your
You don't
faces.
need to. What you need to do
Why are
is
you
get to
not
one of those
angry?
matches,
Why are you not
get to one of
angry
those
to
matches
protect-
and applaud?
Why don't you want to protect women? Why is it always left to me to protect
But women
women's
are
rights?
protected.
They're not.
This
Why does
person
it
has
have
gone
to-
and they've won an Olympic medal, and now they are playing successfully.
Doesn't
in the
want to be a
tournament.
woman.
I don't see what the problem
Doesn't
is.
want to be a woman. Hates the idea of being a woman.
I don't know about
Kept their
hatred,
stuff to
Piers.
themselves.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? My understanding is they've not had any sort of testosterone, so there's no biological.
No,
advantage.
she's a
so carry
biological
on
female.
playing in the sport.
Yes.
Fine. I don't care.
Just stop
But
telling
why
us
do we
all about
have
your
to-
great
why do
move
we
to be a
have
transgender,
why can't
non-binary,
people just
whatever.
get on
Nobody
with
cares.
it? Yeah.
Nobody cares.